Jeremy Hinzman arrived in Canada with his wife Na and his son Liam in January 2004. He was the first US soldier to seek refuge in Canada, having decided he could not participate in the US war led on Iraq. This weekend marks the 4th anniversary of his arrival in Canada, yet he, along with 3 other resistors, is now threatened with deportation, despite the recommendation of the Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration. And this is one of the key reasons we are gathered here today, to send a strong message to politicians that they must let the resistors stay. Please welcome Jeremy Hinzman.
Thank you. We all know why we're here today. It's because a number of us don't want to participate in what I think the majority of the world deemed an illegal war. When I enlisted in the military, it was for a lot of the reasons that I think any young man does: adventure, a sense of belonging, and in the States, an opportunity to fund an education. So, however, when I was trained to be a soldier, I realized that I was being desensitized to humanity, because in order to be able to take another person's life, you have to be able to objectify them and come up with reasons why they're less than human, whether it be because of their race, their religion, where they're from, or what have you. And the way that you learn to kill other people is a very slow, incremental process. You start by shooting your weapon at circles, and then a week later the circles have shoulders, and then the week after that the shoulders have torsos, and before you know it, you're just firing away. It's reflex, and you don't consider that that's possibly and ultimately a human being. And so I realized this in my training, but however, I guess I probably had a mild form of Stockholm syndrome or something, and I got caught in the day-to-day situation of my unit and was having a good time and not thinking about the bigger picture. But I was on the verge of going to the U.S. Army's Ranger School, which is, I guess in mafia terms, which I doubt any of you are familiar with, would make you kind of a made man in the Army, and that was kind of the tipping point for me. So what I did was apply for conscientious objector status to be reclassified to a non-combatant job, as I was in the infantry of the 82nd Airborne Division. After that, I served a tour in Afghanistan with my unit near Kandahar, and then we came back, and Iraq was on the horizon. I won't go into the reasons about why the Iraqi war is wrong, because I think all of you here are probably familiar with that. But I felt those reasons as well, and I felt that I had tried to deal with my situation with the provisions that the Army provides, and I did what I could, and there was no other option but to come to Canada or go elsewhere. However, we did choose Canada because y'all once had a prime minister named Trudeau, I think, and he said something to the effect that Canada should be a haven from militarism. So that sounded really good to me and my wife and Liam, and we came here, and we were also aware of Mr. Chrétien's refusal at the behest of the electorate to not take part in the Iraqi adventure. So we've been here for nearly 4 years now. We've been blessed to have all your support, because we didn't even think this would register, nor did we intend for it to register on anybody's radar. So it's been a godsend, and I wish there was some nice way that I could convey my gratitude other than words. But I think there is a way that we as war resistors can convey our gratitude, and that is to think about the meaning of the term war resister. At least in my case, my resistance to war means all war, cut and dry. I consider myself a pacifist, and I don't think that anything like education, clean water, rights for women, democracy, or what have you, is great or good if it comes from the point of a gun. Because if that happens, the people who are getting that stuff, their dignity has been robbed of them. And so I think now that we're in Canada as war resistors, it's incumbent upon us to not only speak out against the war in Iraq, but also to speak out against militarism in any area of life that we find it. And so again, thank you all for being here today. It's getting down to crunch time, as you know, with the pre-removal risk assessments. Parliament and Canadian Border Services, I don't think, work in sync. So if a deportation comes down, it would be up to you to make a big stink, because that seems to be the only way to stop deportations when it gets down to that time, or else a lot of us might be experiencing a very unathletic kind of March Madness. So thanks again.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.